So here is the 2276 that I started to mess around with. Like I said, I did start messing around with it before I started doing these videos, but I'll go over really quickly what I've done so far on it and what I need to do next as far as to continue assembling it and going from there. Here we go, 2276. And let's see here. I'll start off from the end. Empty valve covers. These should be new seals. Pretty sure that's a new seal. These may or may not be on backwards. I don't know. Like I said, before I started this, my last Volkswagen I had before I knew anything about cars, and now this is like a foreign language to me, going from computerized vehicles to air-cooled carbureted vehicles. So I just slapped these things on there. That's probably, I think these breather tubes on right here, I think these actually go facing backwards. So I think the breather tubes go around the fan shroud and whatnot. So those will probably get swapped around. I had to replace the seals in that. Also, I had also taken, because it had sat so long. Basically, this engine was sitting out on a workbench for quite a while. So I already took the barrels off of each one, and I resealed them. You can see way down. Let me see if I can. Here we go. You can see down in there. Right there, I sealed it on the bottom, and I sealed the bottom there of the barrel, and then also put the cylinder heads back on, torqued those to spec. Which, one thing about these that surprised the hell out of me, there's no gasket between the cylinder and the head, which completely blew my mind. But I think some people, depending on the compressor ratio, what they're trying to do, they throw on a thin copper. It's like basically a big giant copper washer. But I didn't want to do that because it would slightly lower compression. But I may or may not, depending on, hopefully it seals well. Then I need to do that. So also what I did was I installed the rocker arms, which I also had to take apart. But one thing I found out while researching it, doing videos, I have to set up the valve train geometry of this. So I had to get I got another engine stand. I'll put this on a engine stand in another video, and then I have to actually put the engine straight up and down, make it and put it in the engine stand vertical, and then I have to set up the valve geometry using an adjustable push rod that goes in these push rod tubes. I also put in these CB, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, CB push rod tubes with a double O-ring right here. I also added a Scotia sealant right here, which a lot of people say not to do, but I don't care. I'm going to see how it goes. It's a Volkswagen. It's going to leak. So these are removable. And I put a little sealant right there against the block, and I put a little sealant in there. I also took the pulley off here, which I'm going to replace that seal. I'll also replace the seal on the back as well. So that right there is where we're at so far. Also got as far as mounting up and setting on some new tins. Now I found from going through the forums that everybody says don't use the Chinese tins, which I guess the empty ones that you can get are made in China, which are these right here. They do not fit, which is pretty crazy. You'd think they're just stamped, but if you see this right here, one thing I was running into when setting this on, all this, because it's air cooled and you have the big fan shroud that's going to be right here, this needs to be sealed up. And so if you don't, it's going to leak air out of there. But this is actually making contact right here. Right here. So this physically cannot go any farther that way. I do have the original tins for it, so I'm going to put those back on. I'm going to repaint them. I just went with these because I wanted them to look new and nice, but they don't work. They don't fit, so they're going to get junked. So there's that as well. I also have a ton of other parts. He gave me a ton of parts to basically, I have everything to put this thing back together pretty much. So I just have to do research, figure out how cool oil lines get routed and stuff like that, because I literally have no idea how it is. I also have a set of gnarly headers for it that he gave me as well. And I'm also he had the Porsche style fan shroud installed, but I think I'm going to switch back to the standard style fan shroud. because there's another one that I forget what it's called, but it's really expensive, and I don't feel like dumping that much money into this yet. So we're gonna go with stock for now. Here's that Porsche style fan shroud right there. You can see he had painted it kind of a pearlescent chameleon type color, and there is the motor for it. This is one of the tins that may or may not fit. That's one of those empty ones that might get replaced. And there's the set of headers for it and the muffler right there. I'm trying to fight over with myself whether I should actually use the muffler or just straight pipe this thing. From what he says, this thing was super loud, even with that muffler, but I have the other car that's going to be a little quieter, so I'm trying to debate with myself how loud I should actually make this thing. Well, that's it for Project Gapplesauce. So as soon as I get this thing put back together, yeah, I'm going to have to replace that seat as well. Also both seats. The Volkswagen that I had, the 69, I actually had dune buggy seats in it. The low back ones, the really, really deep ones, those things were pretty comfortable and held you in place. I might get some high back ones since, yeah, I don't want my neck broken if I got rear-ended. So whiplash sucks, but I'll keep you guys updated on what I do next, and hopefully it's going to be a fun ride.